Ladies, welcome to this video. Welcome to the group. This is we just started in April, of course, and I'm just double checking here on my phone if this is going live, and hopefully you can see this as well. If you're here watching live, just type live. If you're watching a replay, just type replay. And of course, as always, I'm going to be asking you to be very interactive with these videos, and obviously comment down below what you feel like you should comment, right? And also, if you have any question, of course, comment that. Okay, cool. Welcome again. Obviously, it's not maybe the best time for people to be able to be online live. Like, I understand that, but schedule-wise, is becoming crazy. Obviously, not only me, for my team as well. And the problem is that obviously that when we don't plan things such as roundtables, trainings, at these specific times, I can always try to fill in as best that I can when it comes to that specific situation. So right now I have sometimes before I'm going for a run, and right now I'm really happy to say that really for me it's resonating a lot. That despite me not liking to run and not liking to be doing cardio, and I know that I need it. I just went for probably some extra walks this week. I'm spiking up my movement, and I see a huge difference already. Like I'm watching, and this is funny because it's like most people don't really pay attention to that, but like when you watch the mirror and you see differences, and you see, you watch it, your abs, and you start seeing more definition. You see the skin around your head, and you can actually touch your bones more just by walking a little bit more, or running a little more, or doing some more cardio. In my case, again, for most people, especially watching this video today, perimenopause, you probably do need to do less cardio if you're doing too much. But for me, that I need to do more, it's amazing how detrimental the difference are when you do small little things and you change habits. And for me, I forcing now myself to do this, at least 7 to 10,000 steps most of the days when it's available to my schedule. And right now I have up until 6:30, so probably in the next 45 minutes I'll go. And before that, obviously, I want to welcome some of you that are new inside this group. I see people coming in every day, which of course make me really, really happy. And also I see people that have been here quite a while. And of course, what I want to do for a second here before some housekeeping inside the group, because some of you might know, but some of you might not know what this group is about. And this group is really more about getting a results, right? And it's important because, despite what we do, and you see me going live here, I would like you to pay attention to whenever you come in and to a few things that you need to do. You have all the features here. You will be tagged in sometimes carb cycling. You will be tagged into my welcome post. You will be tagged into a belly fat guide. I mean, the features are important because all this is kind of like all the things that you're supposed to consume to actually know what we do and why we do it so well, right? And then, of course, we have our guide section. And the guide section, it goes from you be able to see other people wins, to see recipes, to see low carb recipe, to see high carb recipe, to understand more how our method works and how our system, meaning like, we have a section of mindset, we have a section of fix my metabolism, a section of exercise. And if you just did that alone, if you just did that, chances are you would probably get a bunch of results already. We had people here watching or most of the time watching it and seeing replays of this, just doing this type of work, and you see a huge difference between people that actually do the work. This is not a group that is going to be you consuming content and that's it. We are already led to believe so long that you consuming content, that means you're going to get results. That nothing but procrastination. That nothing but, I always say, if you need another 10 podcasts for the same content, for only you to stay stuck in the same situation, chances are you're not doing enough, and that means that you're not doing enough of what it means. It's always good to ask question, but when you're a person that only ask question, only watch content and do nothing, chances are the time that you're spending watching, you could be spending doing, and you're not. And this is why usually the differentiation between people getting results or not getting results. This is why when we come inside, I start from keeping people accountable. When you come inside a group, if you are in the program, in the course, of course, I keep you, I force you to be accountable. In the group, I kind of keep you accountable. And if you're not like to be accountable to anybody nor to yourself, chances are you're not going to like my content. Chances are you want to type that leave button on top because, it's not going to be useful for you. And I'm happy to say that the people that are inside the program right now, we have about, and I'm going to talk about it in the next mindset call that we which is unbelievable to me. It's like 97% results rate, 90% about people that stick to it, meaning like they don't stop, right? Which is unbelievable to me. It's like industry standard when it comes to diets itself is 95% failure rate. That means like 5% of people actually get a results. Here we have 95 or 97, which is unbelievable to me. It's like we used to have when we started that in 12, 16. We used to have about 85. Now we have more. We refine the system. We refine the accountability, and it's unbelievable. I get message every day, losing kilo, losing inches, feeling better, getting my sex drive better, back, getting my energy back, getting the sleep better. It's unbelievable. Like this is like me coaching you via screen, giving you everything you need, but via not live, not meeting you in person, not knowing exactly what your day looks like, or better say, I know what it looks like, but I'm not necessarily there with you, right? And it's crazy because that is a obviously there is a component of the fact that you are accountable to yourself, that you choose to I kind of guide you to change your own life and change it to transform. And this is important today because we're talking about, we're going to have a team every single month. Team April month is kind of hormonal and metabolism assessment, and kind of like perimenopause and menopause. And it's important because for the longest time, I've been following myself a lot of education, instruction to actually get good at this. And despite me obviously not experiencing menopause, in men there is also andropause. So there is some similar hormonal shifting when men ages. Obviously, it's a different component. It's testosterone versus progesterone and estrogen in women. But it's similar, meaning, and then again, it's just because I don't experience it physically, it doesn't mean I don't know what women go through, and it doesn't mean I don't know how to coach you. For the longest time, I've been educating myself on those things. But one common ground that I see when I educate myself is that there is all this thirst of people for guidance, for wanting to know more, wanting to understand all the little detail about what happens with the estrogen and the progesterone, and then they fluctuate and then they drop, and then I'm getting menopause, and then I'm getting hit from hot flashes, sweaty nights, and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, you want to pretend that that's a condition, okay? And again, you might be watching this for the first time, you might be watching my video for the 100th time. You're going to understand that I'm very polarizing as a person. You might not like what comes out of my mouth most of the time. And if you're still watching, that's kind of ludicrous, because like you should usually, what you don't like, you wouldn't watch. But if you like what comes out of my mind, if it makes sense to you, you understand. For me, I'm a person driven to results, and I'm a person driven to logic. Okay, you becoming a scientist and specializing yourself on a hormonal weight loss based on what you have, chances are, if you don't have a physical condition, much like you don't have to get your uterus to be removed, or you don't have any hormone replacement needed, or if you don't have any fibroids, or you don't have anything like that, chances are perimenopause and menopause is only a season of your life, much like the youth was, that whenever you have the childhood, and then like you become a young little person, and then you get to your you obviously you get your you're changing, you become a teenager, and then you become an adult, and obviously there is hormonal changes there. There is things that you see different. There is hair coming on your body, there is sweaty, there is hormonal shifting, there is smell and all that stuff. I mean, there is a lot of things going on, but you wouldn't treat yourself saying, okay, I have a condition because this is happening. I probably realize that this is a change that your body needs to go through, right? And of course, when it comes to menopause or perimenopause, sometimes people understand that, sometimes people don't understand that. And of course, when we gonna go, this is just an introduction of perimenopause, and we're gonna have a live video by the end of the month. Usually there is a live video, a live training on Zoom, and then there is usually a challenge that pairs up with the training so that you can start applying. I live in a world that is driven by results. Therefore, I really feel like in my world, like if you're coming in, you watch the information, but then you apply it. If you don't apply it and you just watch information, you're just wasting your time. And in a nutshell, what happens is, and of course, I did put some notes here because I don't want just to forget anything that I'm supposed to say. But in a nutshell, it's very simple. It's like, there is this estrogen and progesterone hormones that normally are very stable when you get your period. When you start kind of like losing your period, or kind of like getting it less often, or maybe more painful, whatever the case is because the estrogen, which is a very active and if you want to call it muscle building or very active hormone, and the progesterone, which is like the other little sister that is passive, that is calming stuff down, that is more on the kind of like catabolic stage. They fluctuate, they shift, and then at some point they drop altogether. They drop, and this is when you start becoming creating menopause or perimenopause. And what happens is that in the world, or in kind of like on your real life, what happens and these changes are actually pretty real, is that you start getting symptoms, hot flashes, you don't sleep well, low energy, tiredness, and moody, and all that stuff. And all these things are very real, but doesn't mean that this is a condition. It doesn't mean that it's a condition like, bad condition like, AIDS or tumors. And like, it's not the same thing. Or diabetes. It's not like the same thing. It's a season of life. There is obviously two type of people, and this is also when there is two type of people in general. Is a person that says, I understand that, and I'm not a victim of that. Or there's the other person that says, oh, my life sucks because I'm perimenopause or menopause, and so I cannot control the things. What happens into the real world when hormonal shifting on that sense is that you might see your fat migrates from the lower part of the body to the midsection. You watch yourself and you're like, oh, hey, I didn't have this belly before. Now I have it. And I didn't do anything different by any chance. And I also didn't hit differently, right? Like, in fact, I'm doing the same thing. And now whatever it was easy before is not easy. That's true, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be controlled. And the change that we see most of the times when it comes to long-term change and when it comes to research and all that stuff, is that these changes in women, aging women, are not due to the changes itself of the hormone, but due to the lifestyle that is associated with it. In other words, when you are moody, when you are very unmotivated, when you're kind of like sad or depressed momentarily due to hormones, which is a very real thing when your dopamine and serotonin versus the epinephrine, which is the happiness type of neurotransmitters, are not shooting the right way, or they're not created equal as before. Chances are like you get a little bit more depressed, you get a little bit more sad, and as a result of that, you choose to not do the things that you're supposed to do. Not going for a walk, not going for a run, not eating well, not drinking enough water, not doing exercise like you're supposed to do. And then on top of that, we got the combination of, if you are a person that's been dieted during now or in the past, you got an additional stress because you're dieting. And then on top of that, if you're a person that's aging and you don't like to work out in the gym, chances are like your muscle mass is also lower than normal, because we know that every single year our metabolism dropped by 10% by nature, and that's due to the lack of muscle the muscle that you lose. And as you understand that more of this thing that decreases and get worse, then the fat is just much easier for you to store, in addition to obviously the hormonal change, which is real, right? Now, what I want to give you today is just an introduction to say, by the way, you don't need to, like, if you understand this is a season of life, you need to basically do your best. You need to be able to pick and choose your battles and do your best with what you get available to you. And that doesn't mean like you have to just give up everything and say, okay, just because I'm perimenopausal right now, I'm going to allow myself to just not be accountable anymore, right? So I'm not going to go to walk. I'm not going to go or to work, some of them. I'm not going to go to the gym. And instead, I'm here to give you a framework for you to be able to use. And number one is like to be able to assess this situation. And there are a few things that, of course, I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. Understand that if you can regulate your mood, or you can rate your mood, regulate it, if you can understand your stress and your stressors, if you can regulate your sleep, that is going to detrimentally impact your hunger level, your ghrelin and leptin level, and of course, everything else. If you are able to control your cortisol for the stress and the sleep, like I said before, the energy, chances are everything else, the choice that you need to make, you're going to be able to impact on a positive way. Meaning like you need to be able to choose your battle, but you need to also be able to assess the current situation, despite the fact that you feel like you're menopausal or perimenopausal, or you have some lab work that tells you that you are. You still like, you need to be able to choose your battle based on the assessment that you're making, right? Therefore, I'm making you an example right now. If you're moody, much, or if you're very depressed, much like a lot of people would say, I'm gonna drink today, or have a few drinks because I feel like I want to drink my sadness away or my boredom away. When you do that, chances are like the interaction of the alcohol will create more hunger as a result. And then the day after you watch, you hit like you binge on something, and then you say, oh, see, I'm menopausal, and then like I'm binging because of, as a result. You don't understand what happened before. Like you're not able, you only focus on the binge. You don't focus on what got you there. You don't focus on the fact that you consume alcohol, and you don't focus on the fact that before you felt in a certain way because of your hormone, but you didn't choose the right bottles, right? So let's say a good bottle would be a good friend of yours comes out of town visiting you, and it says, okay, let's just have a few drinks. You probably don't want to say no because you don't want to make him or her feel better, and maybe you have a drink. A bad bottle would be, I do that because I need a reward, much like a cookie would be a reward, much like a something else would be a reward. Whenever you say that to yourself, because like you thinking with this mentality of a victim versus mentality of somebody in ownership, that you have ownership on your choices. And if you see that, then the next thing is like, when you can pick your battles, then you just need to know what to do. And the things that you need to do kind of short term, and there are short term things of doing, and then long term, is understand that there are things that you need to really pay attention to more so when you age and when you have menopause. Or perimenopause in this case, because perimenopause is kind of like the start. Menopause is when you already are in there, and then you need to manage. But perimenopause is the start of the seasonal part of life that you need to manage the best that you can. And it comes down to understand that there are components that you need to do for sure, meaning like taking a more a more relaxed approach, more so of the nature of meditating, relaxing, hot bed, bubble baths, relaxation, intimacy with your partner, like going for walks, downward regulating approach, meaning like stay away from cardio, especially for long-term cardio, meaning like blunt and long cardio will not serve you better. There are some component of cardio or short bursts, intense rest-based cardio, which we're gonna talk about more inside in this month, that are useful, but not this classical, running 5 times a week things, marathons type of stuff, long tennis sessions, or even dancing, or like long stuff. They're not going to serve you better hormonally, like whether or not you like to do it, and like you need to hear the truth. And there is always like, if you need to prioritize your battle. If the battle is that you want to do it anyway, then of course you do it, but otherwise you need a more down regulating approach. If you're a person that doesn't do anything at all, like you're very sedentary, chances are you need to move a little bit more, but that doesn't mean that it cannot be relaxed. You can do a lot of walking. And one thing that you're going to need to do, whether it's in the gym or in the house, is definitely weights. So you need progressive overload. You need to be able to maintain or create more lean body mass. You need to be able to have things such as omega-3s, or like more so like good quality fat. You need to be able to hit the rainbow, meaning like you need the nutrients and everything, all the vitamins and mineral necessary. And in this specific way, it doesn't matter only the amount of calorie you're eating, but also the quality. More than you age, more, especially when you go to hormonal shift in menopause, the quality of the food is going to be detrimental. It's not going to be a deal breaker, but it's going to be very important. And of course, the one thing that is never done enough is basically two things left, which is like, one thing, balance the meal, meaning like balance a meal with protein, fat, carb, and vegetable. Of course, it needs to be hydration is very important, so drink a lot of water on top of that. But balanced meal will tend to balance your hormones out, your blood sugar, and everything. That is going to help you definitely keep that mood stable, and kind of like the hunger level stable as well. And the last but not least, of course, which you're going to probably have a challenge about, how to eat more protein. This is very underutilized, and this is not only underutilized, but even not taken into consideration. And you're watching me, and you're probably saying, "Oh, but that's simple, right? I thought you're gonna tell me like a framework exactly what I need to do for my menopause." I'm telling you that if you're a person that thinks that way, chances are you're not doing it, and chances are you're not doing the small little things that you need to do to build habits. Small habits build huge changes inside the world, and whether or not you realize it or you don't, That's the way it is. And if you're a person that you don't understand that, like, you probably should watch the content inside this group, because every time we have a challenge and people do it, they already start seeing results, which should be enough to get you to logically think that this is what happens and this is what you need. But if you still don't believe me, then try to do it. Try to see whatever you can do for a week whenever we start, and then ask for yourself, is this what I should be concentrating on, or I should just go on Google and research more about all the other things that I need to do? I'm going to leave you with this, is that with two things. Number one, that I want you to comment down below what is your takeaways from this video. I want you to comment if you have any question about it. But I want you to understand that there is going to be an in-depth training about menopause, and it's going to be real frameworks, like seeing how to work out, how to exercise, taking on this to the next challenge. But what I want to leave you on, challenging your belief system a little bit today, is that if you're a person that always research more, and you say, oh, I think I haven't figured out something. This is why I'm menopausal, perimenopausal, and my hormones is what doesn't allow me to get results. If that's the case, chances are you've been wasting a bunch of time looking over everywhere, like listening to 10 different podcasts, watching webinars, and every single time it's gonna come down to a formula that, whether it's very complex or very simple, it comes down to you managing better lifetime changes, right? So rather than you just spending more time on researching that, would you feel like it would be useful for you to actually start doing something? Would you be feeling like, maybe if I can shift my belief system a little bit, I'll start seeing some results and my life will improve? Because ultimately, it's like, I'm assuming that if you want to change that, you want to achieve a result, you want to change something in your life, right? And if that's the case, then it starts by doing something, right? And the first thing I want to ask you to do here is comment down below and asking for a question. Just by you doing something like that, I'm able to get back at you, and you're able to probably metabolize some information and ask another question. And this allows you to do something different than you have done until today, if you're one of those people I'm talking about, which is basically not sitting down or on your butt, on your couch, and just watching something and thinking that this information is going to change you. Rather, just doing something instead. Even if it's just typing a question, it's like you doing something. And funny part is, like, when you're doing something, you get results from it, and then you're doing more. And when you're doing more, maybe you take a challenge when it's free. Then when you're doing something free and you get results, maybe you understand that investing on yourself is important. Because ultimately, again, you must be somebody results driven. If you're not results driven, this doesn't apply to you. And again, I would say this whole group doesn't apply to you. But if you are, chances are you have not understood yet how to get results. And this is the issue. This is the sad part. It's like everybody want to get coached, but nobody's ready. Like, most of them people are not ready, because like they can't follow direction. They can follow simple direction. They cannot. I'm telling you to say, whether you're here live, there is 4 people. I have not seen 4 comments yet. That means that you have a hard time following direction. I'm not watching who you are, so it's not personal. Don't take it personal, whether you are the programmer or not. I've seen people coming in and off of the live. I don't see it in question yet. So it's important that you understand that following direction is usually the first step to actually be able to be here. Cecilia, good seeing you. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. And again, stay up. There is going to be probably a good video about me showing you some workouts that you can develop from the last challenge this week. Hopefully, I can actually make this happen. It's going to be just a 10-minute video. And stay up, because I'm going to announce soon a mindset call, as well as a training for menopause. So this month is going to be really, really, really cool. It's the first time we actually do teams inside the month. It's the first time we actually start saying, we're going to make this hormonal month, so we're going to make this, menopausal month, whatever. And every single month we're going to have a team. Therefore, I really feel like if you're here to learn and to apply the learnings and get some results, you're in the right place. Coach Jerry here. I'm going to talk to you soon.